Skylanders Giants Nightmare Challenge. In this challenge, I have to complete Skylanders Giants in Nightmare mode. Before we start, I have some rules. First, I have 8 Skylanders to use, one for every element, and one of them being a giant. Second, I don't reset my Skylanders here. They're the level they are and have the upgrades they have. If this is too easy, I might reset them for the next challenge, but I'm not doing it right here. And third, if a Skylander dies, it's out completely, and I can't swap my Skylanders mid-fight. Also, I don't know how many parts or how long this challenge will be, because I'm not sure if I have ever completed this game in Nightmare mode, and I won't be 100%ing this game, just completing the levels. But with no further ado, let's begin the challenge. And of course, we're going with Nightmare. It's the whole point of the challenge. So, the first level is kinda easy, but that's expected. It works as a tutorial. It teaches the basic controls and what the new giant Skylanders can do. The enemies are not very hard to defeat. Mostly a couple of Chompies and Archean Jousters. The level goes by pretty fast, and in the end I had to destroy 3 chains holding the Conquertron's platform. So this was pretty easy, even in Nightmare mode. The second level is definitely more challenging. The enemies do a lot more damage, and this level has 3 different parts, so it's way longer than the first one. In the first part, just fought a few enemies and destroyed some walls to get an object. In the second part, I fought against enemies in few areas. The Bork demons were pretty easy. They do a lot of damage in Nightmare mode, but they are pretty slow, so they were not that difficult. But the Drow archers are. They have range and do a lot of damage, and I almost lost a Skylander in that fight. But I survived. So I decided to swap a Skylander and defeat the remaining enemies to get the new engine. And in this final part of the level, I just fought against a bunch of enemies and then used this cannon thing to destroy a couple of fences and locks, and got the compass. So this level was definitely more challenging and longer, and I was actually close to losing a Skylander. A third level was interesting. It felt a bit shorter and bit easier. The first few fights were pretty easy. It might have something to do with the Skylander I chose for this level. The few J-Masterx and Chompies I faced were pretty easy to defeat, and even the spell punks were pretty easy. This level might be shorter because there was few elemental zones, but I didn't go through them. The next fight was actually pretty hard, and I almost lost Skylander. I was pretty low for a while, and somehow survived the next fight. This level has gone pretty fast so far, and it has been easy. And before the arena fight, there are some blocks to move, some keys to find, and some more blocks to move. And after that, a few enemies. And then there was the arena fight. Pretty much just fighting through waves of enemies. I took a lot of damage, but this was surprisingly easy. The funny thing was that I could knock enemies off the map. So I even dropped Brock, the final enemy, off the map. So overall, this level felt a bit shorter, but it still had some challenge in it. But I still haven't suffered any losses in this Nightmare Mode challenge. This level is a fun one. There's a lot of sky stones, and I like that. This whole level was fighting sky stones, fighting sky stones. The first fight was pretty easy, as you would expect. The armor jumps were kind of funny. Then there was, the first game of sky stones, which was pretty easy. Then a fight. And that fight felt easy with Prism Break. I destroyed the enemies pretty easily. And in the next fight, it looked like the same, but then I made a mistake that almost cost me my life. But luckily I won that fight still. And it was a game of sky stones and some more sky stones. A few fights in the final area. These fights were challenging because the enemies did a lot of damage. Especially the executioners did a lot of damage. I still won and swapped in between fights. Now the final fight happened in waves. The pirate captain sent out minions after minions. But I won without casualties. The final Skystones match was also fun. This level was a bit challenging, but the level wasn't that hard. There were a few close calls, but this level had a lot of Skystones, which I like. Now I have 1/4 of this challenge done and still no losses.